Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Georgia McGilly from Georgia-Beth Photography, and today I'm going to be giving you a wedding planning guide. So this is a month by month, sort of 12-month plus plan of what to do when you're planning your wedding. So many people get engaged, they're super excited, they might even set a date for their wedding, but then what do you do next? How do you know what to plan and when? So that's what this video is all about. I've also got a wedding planning checklist to go alongside this. So if you're interested in grabbing that straight away after this, that you can just print off and tick off as you go along, then go ahead to the link in the description and you can sign up to my mailing list and receive that for free. It's super detailed, so you won't have to keep researching and keep going backwards and forwards to different things online. You can just watch this video, download it, and away you go. There's going to be a lot more wedding planning advice coming out on this channel as the time goes on. I've got some exciting stuff coming up in November, so please make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified every single time I have a new wedding planning video coming out for you. Okay, so jumping straight into it. This is straight from 12 months before, so 12 months plus really. So if you've got engaged more than a year before you want to get married, go ahead and try and get these bits and pieces sorted straight away. So the first thing is to decide on your budget. And now that can be a really hard thing. Sometimes you know exactly how much you've got. You've been spending a few years saving for a wedding anyway, so you have a budget already set. But sometimes you don't really know how much money things are going to cost, what your priorities are going to be, and then you kind of get into it and realize you actually want to spend more than you'd originally planned because you have certain priorities that you didn't really realize. So straight away, just write down what your priorities are. Do you want to have a DJ or would you rather a live band? There's so many different questions. Things like, have you been dreaming of your perfect dress since you were 11? Or are you not too worried where you buy it from? Do you want to buy a brand new dress? Do you want to buy a pre-loved dress? Do you want to have the ceremony and reception all at one venue? Or have you dreamed of getting married in a church and then moving on to somewhere else for your reception? There are so many different questions, and there is far more questions and details in the wedding checklist, so make sure you go and grab that for more details. So once you've decided on those things, then you can decide a bit more on what your figure is. After this, you need to start deciding on your guest list. So this can be something that actually can be quite a stress for some couples, and I am bringing a video out really soon on how to plan your guest list, your kind of do's and don'ts. But the main tip that I kind of want to say to you guys is it's your day. You should have who you want to be there. Obviously be polite and involve your family when and as they can. But if there's certain people that you don't want at your wedding, that's fine, that's up to you, it's your big day. You want to decide whether you're going to have a local wedding or whether you'd rather go somewhere and have kind of a quiet, smaller wedding at some luxury destination or something like that. So those two are going to obviously have a big part to play as to how many guests you have, and it's also going to have a big part to play as to when the date is going to be. What you want to do is kind of decide 3 to 5 dates that you're happy with, so that when you then go to venues, that if you're not stuck on one date if they're not available. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is to research wedding venues. So deciding, are you going to have all in one? Are you going to have separate ceremony and reception? And then researching where those places are going to be and whether they fit into your budget, of course, as well. And there's quite a few things that you can ask them, try and think about, but I've detailed them all below in the wedding checklist in the description. So go ahead and download that if you want to know all the details. And I'm also going to be doing a video later on in a few weeks about what questions to ask your venue. And then the last thing that you want to do, make sure you do a year before, is researching other vendors. So there are so many other vendors. I'm just going to list them off now. And there's some people have even more than this, some people have less. It's totally up to you. Some people really want their family involved, and families will do stuff. Some people would rather just pay people to get on with it and not have kind of the worry of needing to do it yourself. So here they are. You've got your caterers, your florist, your music, so whether that's a band or a DJ, your photographer. If you're interested in finding a photographer, then I am a professional wedding photographer as well, so go ahead and click the link in the description and pop me an email if you're interested. A videographer, entertainment, so some people have like a magician come, or they might have a caricaturist or something like that. So if you want some sort of extra entertainment in the evening, have a little think about that. Event hire, so depending on where your venue is, you might want to have need extra table linen or a sweet stand or those kind of large light up letters, all those sorts of things can come from an external source. Decorations, transport, cake, bar, hair and makeup, all those sorts of things. So that there is obviously, I could keep going on, but again, they're all in the checklist down below. So the next time slot is 10 to 12 months. And at this point, you want to make sure that you've got your venue booked and your date solid. And if you are doing save the dates, then go ahead and send them out. They don't have to be physical. You could do a little digital design. If you're interested in knowing how to do that yourself, go ahead and check out my video on how to design things in Canva. And then at this point, you want to reserve any guest rooms at your venue or nearby. If you're having guests that are going to be traveling, think of where you want to stay for your wedding night. Are you going to book a bridal suite or something like that? Then you also want to be booking your other kind of main vendors. The main vendors that you want to book this early on are things like florists, photographers, again I'm a photographer, and caterers and music, because those sort of things quite often get booked up really early and really in advance. So make sure that you've got these booked up between 10 and 12 months beforehand. At this point, then you probably want to make sure that you've chosen your bridal party and ask them as well, so that they know what date they're meant to be kind of keeping free. So make sure that you decide who you want as your bridesmaids, your maid of honor, your best man, your ushers, any sort of junior wedding party, anything like that. Decide on those and ask them, just making sure that they don't go ahead and book any holidays over your wedding. Okay, so moving on to 8 to 10 months before. At this point, you want to make sure that you are creating something like a wedding registry or gift list. There are so many places online, and I've listed a whole load of those on the wedding guide in the checklist below. And I'm also doing a video really soon on how to do your wedding registry and what sites that I personally think are the best. Then you also want to be planning your wedding theme and decor. So thinking about, what do you want at the ceremony? What do you want at the reception? Table decorations. If you're going to be hiring any kind of large pieces of decorations, go ahead and research those and book those now, and then planning your colours for things like your groomsmen's attire and your bridesmaid's attire. Also 8 to 10 months before, you want to be looking at getting your wedding dress. Usually you'll get it tailored to fit, so you want to make sure that you get far enough in advance so that you've got loads of time to have kind of several fittings before the wedding. At this point also, most wedding florists will want you to meet with them and kind of finalise the details. So at this point you'll meet with your florist and finalise what kind of flowers do you want, what colour scheme, all those sorts of things. How much are you getting from the florist? Are you getting big centerpieces done, or are you just kind of having your bouquets and buttonholes? That's totally up to you, the way you want to design it. So go ahead and book in with your florist to kind of organize all of that. Moving on to 6 to 8 months before. At this point you should have already decided your hair and makeup artists, so book in some sort of trial at that point, and also order and send your invitations. If you're wanting to design your own invitations, go ahead and check out my Canva video on designing your own invitations, but there are also so many other sites and different kind of unique handmade design places out there as well. So if you're wanting to order them from somebody like that, go ahead, look on places like Etsy and stuff. They do really personalized, unique wedding invitations. Now moving on to 4 to 6 months before. We're getting really close, but by now you should have booked pretty much all of your wedding vendors. So whether you've got music, band, all those sorts of things, any sort of table linen, any event stuff, anything should all be booked and secured for your date by now. So those are the big things. Those are the things that you're done. So you haven't got as much to do right now. So at this point, you want to be kind of planning your seating charts, which I'm going to do a video on very, very soon. So keep an eye out on that. Planning and creating your wedding playlist. So a band might have asked you kind of what are your favorite songs that you might need to send to them, or a DJ. And also if you're wanting to just have some background music before the band or DJ turn up, create those on something like Spotify or something so that you can have it playing out of some speakers, just to have that kind of extra background music. And then at this point also, you want to be planning your wedding day schedule. So that is basically just what's happening when. When does the ceremony start? When does the reception start? When are you going to have the speeches? All that sort of thing. So kind of plan through that, and maybe designate somebody who's going to kind of take control of that on the day. Usually somebody like the maid of honor or best man is a good choice, because you know you can rely on them to just make sure that everything's happening at the right time. Also 4 to 6 months before, you probably want to be buying your thank you gifts for your bridal party. Quite often people want to do some sort of personalised thing, so at this point is a really good time, because then you make sure that you've got plenty of time for whoever you're buying them from to create them and send them to you, and then you're not stressing right before the wedding. Now it's getting really, really close to your big day, and these few things are just for 2 to 4 weeks before. So you want to obviously check in and finalise with any of your vendors. Finalise your seating chart after you've received any RSVPs from your invitations. Send your final head count over to your venue and your caterers. Get your hair cut and coloured. So this is something that you don't want to be doing like just a couple of days before. Make sure it's a couple of weeks before, so that it can settle and it just looks really, really natural. Any sort of shopping that you want to do for your honeymoon, if you're going abroad somewhere tropical, getting your new swimming costume, things like that, go ahead and do that now. Getting your money changed if you're going abroad for your honeymoon. And then the main thing is just to relax and enjoy those last couple of weeks before your wedding. Go and have a spa day, get your final fittings for your dress done, and then just before the weddings, maybe 4 or 3 days before, you want to get your manicure and pedicure done. Pack your essentials bag for your wedding, which I'm going to be doing another video on really soon about what to pack in your essentials wedding day bag, and then also packing your honeymoon bags. So there you go. That was just a really quick rundown. There are quite a few more details that I haven't covered in this, so make sure that you download the checklist below so that you don't like miss out on any other things like when to buy your wedding rings or things like that that I haven't included in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below when you're getting married, where you're getting married, whether this was helpful or not. Make sure that you hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more planning videos, and I'll see you guys really soon. I'm always cheering you on. Have an amazing day.